Hey, today we're going to watch a fun play. This is from a couple weeks ago. This was week one against the Lions, but I hadn't really watched a lot of run game, and so this one caught my eye. So I wanted to talk about this in a few different ways. So we're just going to see how this goes. So we'll watch the play, but as we always do, we'll start up here. It is 8:58 remaining in the third quarter, 2nd and 4. Packers and 11 personnel. We're going to watch. It's just going to be little zone run inside there, or I think it looks probably like wide zone, maybe. Doesn't matter. Running backs can cross the face. We got no motion, 3-by-1 set, and Jacobs is going to get a gain of 3. Nothing too crazy. The reason I want to talk about this, so I had posted about this, and then one of the things I said, I'm just going to read it off, or I'll read a part of it out. I said I was tagging RPOs, and this one popped up. And then I said to the trip side, they've got the Packers have a two-man bubble screen, pre-snap read, paired with a glance route post-snap read. It's finally happening. I had a handful of people hit me up, and they were like, I don't know what this means. One of the things I've never really wanted to do is get so bogged down in terminology that it makes it impossible for people to follow. I kind of want to do stuff. I like to talk about things in a way that allow people to kind of learn more about football. That's how I learn about football. And I don't want to get too bogged down in terminology. Sometimes I lean on terminology a bit because it helps explain what's happening, but things do tend to get lost in the wash a little bit. So today we're walking through all of that stuff, and then getting into why I like this play, what this could mean down the line, all that stuff. So start out. I'm tagging RPOs tonight. We're going to start there. What's an RPO? RPO stands for run pass option. Let's see. Can I do? No, I can do this. No, I cannot. No, I cannot. All right. So we'll do RPO. Sorry, I was trying to do RPO is run. RPO run pass option. It's exactly what it sounds like. This was back in the days. These were called package plays. These are called RPOs now. Is typically what I see. What you have is you've got an option here, as it says. You can run it right there. You got a handoff call on there, or you can pass it. In this case, you've got a couple ways to pass it. We'll just, for the sake, we don't want to overcomplicate things now because we'll get into it. We'll say on this one, there's a bubble screen to the outside. So the quarterback can say, I can hand this ball off. He's got the option. I can hand this ball off, or I can throw it. The idea in a run pass option is you're making the defense, they're never right. You're putting them in conflict. They're never right, whatever they choose. You want to run to the place where there's the lightest amount of bodies, the fewest amount of bodies. You're essentially removing one person from the equation no matter what you pick. And so that's the idea. So that's an RPO. There are different types of RPOs, and we'll get into that. But that's the basic thing. Run pass option. Okay, very first thing. Second thing, I said to the trip side, they've got a two-man bubble screen. Trips is just in football, a lot of that first letter will just tell you what something means. Rip Liz, right, left. Trips, you've just got 3. You got a 3-man to 1 set. We're not going to get into this now. We'll talk about it now. When you look at wide receivers to a side, you number them outside in. So this would be if you're saying, we got trips and the 1 is running a go, which he's not here, but the 1 is running a go. That'd be that man here is running a go, which would be like a vertical route. He's not doing that. That was a bad example. But that's what we're doing. So trips, 3-man to a side. And trips would mean 3-man to a side. That's where you start getting bogged down a little bit, where they're spread out like this. If, say, Dobbs is underneath here, and you've got that, or he would be up top, I guess, and these two guys would be back, call that a bunch. That would be the alignment there. But trips is 3 men to a side, 3 wide receivers to a side, all kind of spread in the way that these guys. So that is trips. The next thing was they've got a 2-man bubble screen, which is a bubble. We'll start here. Bubble. That's what I just kind of tagged this. That man kind of bubbles back. He'll bubble out. And then you typically get at least 1 block here. 2-man. Sometimes you get a 3-man. This is a 2-man. So you're blocking from the outside. You got a bubble screen underneath. And then the last piece of this that I said was paired with a glance route, which is going to be here. Different names for routes. It's kind of just like a vertical kind of skinny route usually from the inside man here. So we got kind of our base terminology, but we're going to kind of put it together now. So we have got, read this again. Pull it up. RPO, you've got to the trip side, 2-man bubble screen, Pre-snap read paired with a glance route post-snap read. So we've got all that now. We got our trips. We know what a run pass option is. We're going to have Jacobs running. You got a run option. To the trip side, 3 wide receivers. You got a 2-man bubble screen if you want as a numbering system. The 1 is blocking. The 2 is bubbling. The 3 is running a glance. The last part of this, I said, it's a pre-snap read is the bubble. Post-snap is the glance. Not where it gets confusing, but man, we put all this together, so we've got this. Pre-snap read. There are 2, I bucket RPOs, or typically 2 types of RPOs. That's how I bucket them, is pre-snap read, post-snap read. Pre-snap read is exactly what it sounds like. You are making the determination whether you're handing the ball off or throwing based on the pre-snap look. Doesn't matter what they do post-snap in a pre-snap read, and the bubble is one of those. We're just saying, what do they look like pre-snap? Pre-snap read is you're looking at this type of thing. Usually these RPOs are kind of these horizontal, behind the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage things. You're looking at the leverage and number count of the defense pre-snap. So you're looking at, what do I have on offense? I've got 2 men on offense. What do I have on defense? I've got these 2 men on defense. And then the next thing you're looking at would be like leverage. All right, he's head up here. He can block that guy. You're throwing to the inside man. You're throwing to your 2. What do I got? This linebacker here. This is one, maybe he can make the determination to throw if he likes that linebacker thing. Linebackers head up, though, and you've got the alley. So what would happen if you throw this, if you just kind of play this out a little bit, he's blocking here. He's bubbling out. Sometimes you'll get like where he'll block in. You can't do that here because then that's free. You got a free release to the outside. That sucker, at the very least, he gets tackled. Worst case scenario, you're putting the ball in harm's way, interception. If this is thrown and this linebacker is looking right here, he's reading, he's looking across. If that man bubbles, and I think we'll see it post-snap, we'll look at this, he's just going to run the alley, and he's going to make that tackle in the backfield. So you got 2 and 2. We've got 2 on offense, 2 on defense to the same side. If the Packers have numbers to this side, if they've got 3 men over here, if, say, this guy isn't here, I'm going to cross him out, and you've got this guy's running the bubble over blockers, pre-snap, you know I'm throwing that. Because I've got 3, they've got 2. I've got 2 blockers to block their 2 men, which meant this guy right here is unblocked. I can give him the ball with 2 blockers out in front. I will take that. Again, the idea is to never be wrong. This type of thing, the pre-snap ones, typically you're not getting a ton of yards out of. You're not looking for explosives out of those. What you're looking for is, I'm making a decision where I think the option I'm choosing is going to be more effective than the other one. So if this was the case here, I get my 2 blockers. I think I can get, nothing crazy. I think I can get 5 yards out of that. But with the box, if this guy here, we'll say if this guy here that I've crossed out, if he's bumped over a little bit, you're running into 8-man front. That's probably not going to be super successful in the run game. Or I can throw to the advantage over here. That'd be a pre-snap read. I'm looking at the numbers, the leverage, post-snap to that side. If I like the leverage, if, say, like this linebacker is bumped in a little bit, and I think I can get that, we're overcomplicating things now. But if, because this is what we're doing, the 2-man bubble. If this linebacker is bumped over a bit right here, if this guy is, say, like over here, and I think, or just maybe not that far, but just a little bit more bumped in, and I think I can still throw that as an advantage because he's on the, on the inside shoulder of that receiver, and I can get this ball out here, and then he can get the edge on that guy there. That's a leverage throw. You may see that thrown. Even if the numbers are even, a lot of times they'll get that leverage. But again, that is a pre-snap determination. Love is not looking at any movement at all after the throw. What he's looking, or after the snap, what he's looking at is pre-snap numbers and leverage. That's our pre-snap read. That's our 2-man bubble with a pre-snap read. And the other type of RPO, so we'll just look at this one. I got a glance one. That's a vertical RPO. This is what is typically tagged, or what I think of as, this is a post-snap read. And the reason it's a post-snap read is because you're reading a player after the snap to tell you whether you should throw it or pass it. Again, you're looking for the advantage here. In a post-snap read, there's a conflict defender. It's going to be this man right here. I think that's Alex Anzalone, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think that's Anzalone. You're reading that man post snap, and you're reading his movement, because again, the idea is to never be wrong. You don't want the defense to be right. You're making the defense choose wrong. The idea of this is, he's going to cross the face. Jacob's going to cross the face of Jordan Love. Love's going to put the ball in Jacob's belly, and he's going to have eyes up on our conflict defender right there. If that conflict defender, we'll draw this again with that out. It's not quite that pronounced, I guess. We'll draw it's like a little skinny there. If our conflict defender sees that action where he puts the ball in Jacob's belly and it's part of the run fit, that means that you've got gold. I think it's that golden. I don't think that's golden. He is going to be. It might be Wicks. We'll see. I can't remember. I should have looked this up ahead of time. He's going to have a free release because he's probably going to be rushing. Like, you're kind of looking at stuff here. He's going to be rushing here, unless he buzzes under. So you're kind of reading, but it's mainly like you're reading, say, those middle guys there. I can get a free release off of this if those guys are part of the run fit. So if those guys are part of the run fit, right there. Let me do this in blue, so as to not be confused with anything. There we go. There we go. That means I've got extra bodies in the run. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if that guy's part of the run fit, you've got 8 guys in the run fit against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. And then you're handing off there. You don't want that. It's not an advantageous look for the run game. But now you've got a free release up the seam for your guy. So you take that. The post snap read is a little trickier because you're reading them making that determination to throw post snap by reading typically one defender. Again, that conflict defender. Maybe you're looking at see if Anzalone buzzes under at that point too. If they have a tendency to do that, you may look at that. Picture can change post snap. And it's a really quick read, man. Like, we're going to look at it split second because you're reading him as you're putting the ball in the belly. A lot of things can go wrong in that time. But you have the ability for explosive plays. Whereas the bubble, which we looked at here with him, I mean, if you get 6 yards out of a bubble, dude, you're high-fiving. Like, that's great. A glance, man, you're getting 6 yards by the time he catches it. You've got a chance to not necessarily blow it open, but you got a chance to get a first down. You got a chance to get 15. Like, you've got chances to really kind of a more explosive play out of this than you would out of the bubble. So it's kind of a risk reward thing. So you're looking at seeing what that guy does post snap. So put this all together. We've got all this. We got our pre-snap look, 2-man bubble. So take it back. Let's strip it all the way back. Actually, let's strip it all the way back. I got 11 personnel. 11 personnel. You count your personnel, running backs to tight ends. Running back, tight end. You count those first. So 1 running back, 1 tight end. That's 11 personnel. You can have 5 skill position players on the field. So 11 personnel means you've got 3 wide receivers. I got 1 running back. I got 1 tight end. I got 3 wide receivers. I got this, depending on how you tag it, I always tag them just whatever. 3x1 would be my formation set because you got 3x1. A lot of times you'll see this, you got 3, it's who's on the line. Sometimes you see that 1x3. This is called a nub tight end. If the spot away from the passing strength is a tight end in line, a lot of times you hear that called like a nub formation, nub tight end. Sometimes you'll tag that 1x3. I tag that 3x1. And so 11 personnel. Because you've got 1 tight end or 1 running back, 1 tight end. Count the running back first. I always remember that by alphabetically. R comes before T, so I count the running back first. Running back, tight end, 3 wide receivers, and a 3x1 set. We got trips, which we know. We got 3 wide receivers to the same side, spread out. We're going to count those guys outside in. We got a 2-man bubble with the 1 blocking, the 2 bubble. That's our pre-snap read is our bubble. And then we've got our 3 is running a glance route, which is kind of like a short vertical look as soon as you get up the line. If this was a blitz, I mean, it's a lot of times the same thing when you think of like a hot route, like a replace route, something like that. It'd be the same thing. He's going to release and look back. That's your post-snap read. So we've got everything, man. They're in 11 personnel. We know what that is. They're in trips formation. We know what that is. You got RPO, which we know they're going to be running there. And then the quarterback has an option to pass. So that's a run-pass option. We got a pre-snap bubble here. We got a post-snap glance right there. The reason I got so excited about this play, the Packers do not run, have not traditionally run these post-snap RPOs. Again, there's a balance with that, risk-reward thing with that, and I do think that played into it somewhat, but that can open up the offense a little bit more. So it's something I've wanted to see out of them a little bit more. 2024, the stuff that I charted, they ran 5 post-snap RPOs in 2024. I forgot to look up to see if they threw any of them. I don't know if they did. I think if they threw any, they threw 1 post-snap RPO in 2024. I know they only ran 5 all season because I charted that, and that includes the playoffs. This season, through 3 games, Packers have shown 5 post-snap RPOs. So they've already shown as many post-snap RPOs in 2025 as they did in 2024, which is encouraging. It's something I've been wanting them to do for years since the RPO stuff kind of came out a little bit more. So that's an encouraging sign. What I like out of this is that you've got it to the same side, man. You've got a pre-snap read, and the way they do their RPOs, they will have a lot of 3-man pre-snap RPOs. You'll get this little wide receiver screen. You'll get a bubble. You will get, I guess a lot of times to do that too, you can kind of crisscross the blocking there as well. You'll get kind of this fake release off of this, which I love, where you kind of fake the block and you get them to bite and you take it up the seam. You've got a bunch of stuff they can do out of their 3-man anyway. The fact that they are now packaging a pre-snap bubble with a post-snap glance. Now, we've walked through all that. You know what that is. I don't want to belabor the point, but I do want to make sure that we're all kind of getting it. I don't want to be, talking past anyone at this point. But this is what we've got now. We now have basically, it's not 3 plays, but essentially you can look at it as 3 plays, man. You can run it. You can make a pre-snap determination here or a post-snap determination here. So right off the bat, Love knows, and you're not overcomplicating things for the quarterback is what I think I like about this so much. Because this right here, you're crossing this off, or you're saying go on that before the ball is snapped. This determination's made. You know right now. Pre-snap, this is out. I don't like this. Numbers and leverage, all that. We already looked at that. Which means for the quarterback now, you're simplified. It's not 3 decisions, it's 2. You're going to read this defender right there, post-snap, when you put the ball in his belly, and that's when you're making the call. This is out of the picture. Do I throw? Do I run? Based off the movement of that player here. So let's watch it. Now that I've talked for 10 or 15 minutes or however long I've been going at this point. See how he kind of slow plays this a little bit. We'll watch Love. He's got his eyes up. We'll see him from the back. So, real easy, right? He's going up. Do I throw this? He's already handed the ball off at this point, but you understand the point. It's still the same position. You're not throwing that. You got the safety up over the top, but you're not really reading him because if you're throwing it fast anyway. This guy would have already vacated by the time this has happened. Ball's out of Love's hand if the determination is made. You can see what happens if the ball's out of his hands here. That man's in the lane. That's an immediate passing lane. The other thing with RPOs, this is a called run play with passing tags. You can see these guys getting up. If that ball is not out immediately, you get called for an eligible man downfield because they're run blocking. The line doesn't know what the quarterback's doing at this point. So I am run blocking. That's my job. It's on the quarterback to make sure this sucker gets out. If Love throws this immediately, ball's picked off. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, that thing's just knocked down. But that's so safety doesn't matter because he's too deep. You're getting that ball out quick. The fact that he's in the lane, that's why Love throws that. He's slow playing this. And then it ends up not being a big gain, but you can see what happens. As we talked about, we had an 8-man box is what we were looking at defensively if this guy was part of it. Well, just do the math of it all. Since that man's held in place and he took away our throw, we've got a 7-man box. We've removed a man from the run fit. It's only a 3-yard gain. 3-yard gain on 2nd and 4. That's still a successful play. Typically, successful play would be 50% of yards needed on 1st down and 2nd down, 100% needed on 3rd and 4th. That's a successful play. 3 yards on 2nd and 4. That's not too bad. You've removed this guy. If he's part of the run fit, that's 8-man. That's not a great look. So you throw that. You've removed this guy here just from the sheer fact of what you're doing from that wide receiver release, from how they're playing that. He's not part of the run fit. He's not able to crash immediately. He probably wouldn't have been part of it anyway, but that's the determination right there. That's what you're doing. That's how you're making them wrong. You're trying to make them wrong. If that man's part of the run fit, you've got a free release wide receiver. since that man is staying with the receiver, you've removed him from the run fit. That's the goal of a run pass option. That's what you're doing. We're going to look at it just from this angle real quick because I think I've already gone on way too long here. We're going to, I said I thought that was Anzalone, and then I was like, no, it's not. And I was correct. That is Jack Campbell. That's Jack Campbell right here is our conflict defender. Again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be it. If he's part of the run fit, you've got a free release for the receiver. We're going to watch Love, watch Campbell. See his eyes? Right there. You look at the stripe of the helmet. You can see him from this angle. He is looking at Campbell. He's reading Campbell. Campbell vacates, but he's got the ball right there. If Campbell vacates, he's pulling and just popping this ball right over the top. Again, Joseph is there. He's going to crash down. You're not getting a huge gain out of that. But you'd have a free release wide receiver off the line, getting the ball in his hands 5 yards down the field vertically. That's what you're looking at there. The fact that Campbell stays in, you're removing him from the run fit. That allows just get a hats on hats up here. You're unblocking that guy there who ends up making the tackle, but Jacobs gets up, again, 3 yards. So that's what we got. To read that one more time, not to belabor the point, but we now know what all this is. Now let's go to the wide view, and I'm going to draw anymore. We're just going to talk about it. RPO. So I'm tagging RPOs today. Run pass option. To the trip side, 3 men to the same side, spread out. They got a 2-man bubble. We know what that is. Pre-snap read, we know what that is. Paired with a glance route, post-snap read, we know what that is. And we get why I was excited about it. So, again, I hope this was... Again, I don't know if this was for everyone. I have no idea. But what I want to do was just strip this thing down, talk about this in a way that maybe I don't talk about things as much as I would like, which is stripping it down to the bare essentials. When these terms get thrown out, what do they mean? What are we talking about? That's what we're talking about. I hope this was enjoyable. I hope this was helpful for someone. If not, man, that's fine. But I hope it helps someone learn a little bit more about football. I'll try to be a little more conscious of that going forward in terms of not trying to get bogged down too much in the terminology. It will happen sometimes. It's just the nature of the beast. But I will try to be better about that. I hope you all enjoyed this. A little football 101, 201, 301, whatever you want to call it thing. And I don't know. I'll talk to you later, I'm sure.